All right, business owners, did you know that Google is dead as we know it? In this game-changing episode, Robert Downey unveils the seismic shift refining search from typing in keywords to simply asking Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant. Voice-first AI-driven search is here, and it's not just changing how consumers find businesses, it's rewriting the rules of visibility. For small businesses, it's no longer about chasing Google rankings. The future demands dynamic AI-centered strategies to stay discoverable when and where it matters most, if I can get my mouth to work. So tune in today. How we're going to learn how AI empowers small businesses, how to untap the power of voice search, and really powerful, actionable strategies that'll make your business the first choice in voice-activated queries. So the revolution isn't just coming, it's here. Don't get left behind. So are you ready to future-proof your business? Listen to today's Profit with a Plan podcast right now. Hey entrepreneurs, are you ready to boost your profit and grow your business? Well, welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, where we share strategies to help you scale your company, increase your profitability, and set up for a successful future exit. I'm your host, Marcia Riner. I'm a business growth strategist and the profit booster behind Infinite Profit. I've helped countless entrepreneurs to build highly profitable and sale-ready businesses. That's more profits now and a bigger payout later. By the way, today's episode is sponsored by Infinite Profit, where we don't just talk profit, we deliver it. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, go visit infiniteprofitconsulting.com. But before we dive in, I have something super special for you. And if you've ever felt like you're doing just the right things in your business, but not getting the traction you deserve, here's a tip. Have you thought about your customer reviews? This can be a secret weapon to help you attract new clients and boost trust. That's why I'm excited to share our free growth and marketing audit at profitbooster.biz. In just one session, we'll show you how to turn those reviews into real growth. Are you ready to stand out? Go visit profitbooster.biz and let's get started. All right, enough with the commercials. Let's jump into today's episode. Our guest today is Robert Downey. Rob is a seasoned entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with nearly 3 decades of experience. As the co-founder of Simply Be Found, Rob has dedicated his career to enhancing online visibility of small businesses. His expertise spans over 1,000 marketing campaigns and has developed more than 5,000 websites, demonstrating his deep understanding of local SEO and voice search optimization. Rob's innovative approach has empowered countless businesses to connect more effectively with their local communities, making him the leading figure in the digital marketing landscape. Wow, Rob, welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast. I'm excited to have you on today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I'm super excited to talk about our topic today, which
Oh,
is
it's a big one.
really sexy because we're using AI, but we're using voice AI and how it really drives today's marketing and the landscape. So many people are using chat. As I always say, I'm dating Chad GPT, and we're very intimate because we're using it so frequently now. And I think that today's businesses have to really evolve and get into this game, or they're going to be left in the dust.
Well, they are. And I mean, we live in a world where AI is kind of taken over. I mean, some people call it co-pilots, and that's a whole piece of its own but it's all AI. It's all driven of how you're using a tool to be able to drive that traffic to your business. And I think it's a huge piece. And there's so many different aspects of it. Like you said, there's voice search that's part of that. There's the AI search, how people are finding things. I mean, ChatGPT has its whole entire brand new way of being able to do search, and that's going to take Google to storm. Google's dead the way we know it.
Which is a pretty powerful statement. And I know that Google's scrambling right now trying to adjust their search engines and, using their own search, I think what, Gemini or something like that. Microsoft's
Started with
trying to,
Yeah, it started with Bard and then it's changed over to Gemini and then an
it'll
update
have a new
really.
name next month.
Right. I mean, Google constantly, I mean, if you look at Google Labs, they've got stuff coming out all over the place, and everybody's trying to figure out where the hell this is going to land at.
Exactly, which is really exciting for me at least, and hopefully the audience is going, yeah, wow, how do I access that? And how do I make sure that I'm being found using the tools that all of our customers are actively using?
Well, remember when it used to be just the yellow pages? You had to make sure you're listed there. And I mean, that's
Right.
you had one place that everybody came. If they needed a plumber, they opened up their yellow pages and they said, okay. And then you had A plumbing and all that stuff that was there. But I mean, it was a lot, but you only got to change that once a year. And if you got it wrong or that salesperson wrote down something wrong, you were stuck with that for an entire year as well.
I remember
So,
those big, thick books that you would actually get delivered on your doorstep, and it would, when it was older, then you would use it as a doorstop, right?
or
But yeah,
or used it on a chair to use as a booster for a kid.
yeah,
Yeah, there's all kinds
we're
of things it
totally
was
dating
used for.
ourselves.
I had someone the other day go, "What's the Yellow Pages? I've never heard of it." And I'm like, "Am I that old?"
Right. Right. But it is important that, just because you have a business and you hang a sign on the outside of your door, you're not going to be found. And I know that this is kind of, not a, common realization of businesses, but we search really hard to get found in the search engines, right? And now the search engines are changing again. And we need
Well,
to
I mean,
still be found with that.
as we date ourselves, and we'd go back, you and I on a conversation earlier. We talked about Lycos, we talked about Alta Vista, AOL, Prodigy, all those different things that built the internet where it is.
Yeah.
We haven't had a major change in the way people do things until probably 5 years ago when voice search started kicking off. And everybody thought voice search was going to be this fad that was going to happen. And then you had AI come in right behind that and really kick off. And I think COVID had a big effect to that to be able to push technology in different directions. But voice search is not just being used by someone who is, a young person. It's being used by our older generations because they can't see very well, they can't hear very well, but it all ties to it so they can ask for that and get that information back and not have to rely on their vision to do it. Um,
Exactly.
I've
And I think we're using it, as consumers, we're using it because it's convenient. Oh, Alexa or Siri, change the channel, turn on the light, those kind of things. But
right.
when you're on your phone, which is your primary device, and you go, hey, where's the nearest gas station? Where's the nearest ATM? Where's the nearest pizza place? Oh, I want sushi, and those are just restaurant examples, but you got to have your site and your brand the ability to be able to be on that search, right?
You do. It's no different than how mobile development came out. Well, what was that, 2005, 2006, maybe? We started really focusing on that. Really kicked off in 2008 when social started coming into the play.
Right.
But you have so many different devices. You have your smart speakers, you have your smart watches, you have your mobile phones. You have to still look good on desktop. You have to look and be everywhere. And it's all about your business data. So, how do you get your business found inside of there? It all
Yeah.
stacks with your business data. And your business data has always been there. We've used it as marketers for years. I remember a company called, and I don't know if you remember them, UBL.org,
Mm.
um, which was Universal Business Listings. They no longer
Oh,
exist. They got bought out now. It's part of a big, huge group that does citations and all of that different pieces, which we do as well. That's where it kind of starts with, because you have to massage that data to make sure it's the right data that's out there. And then you have to make sure you have a website that's able to handle that data and also have that right schema on it and the right SEO. Because really inside of today's world, you have three pillars that everything falls underneath. You have content, you have authority, and you have trust.
hmm
And what builds up onto that is going to be your citations. So it's all your listings. It's registering on the right networks. Most business owners are getting the phone call of, hey, you're not registered on voice search and all this different stuff. But you have to make sure those citations are right. Your next piece is making sure your social media is right. And then on top of that, you have to make sure that your website has the right schema, the right SEO on it, because it's all three of those pillars. Now, if you would have talked to me 2 years ago, I would have said, hey, websites are dead. They're one of those things to where they're a business card. Maybe you don't have
Glorified brochure,
right.
right?
You don't have e-commerce. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on it. You don't have to make sure you're doing all that because it's not a big piece of it. Everything else is picking it up. Well, AI came out, and now if you don't talk about what you do and what problems you solve on your website, you're left behind all of a sudden again. And we're just in this whole entire what I call a tornado of marketing where everything is changing. A lot of marketers want to stay old school and keep doing what they've been doing because it works and spend money on Google ads and all this different stuff. Well, it's all changing so fast. And if you don't keep up on it, your competition does, they're going to be light years ahead of you.
Okay. So the realization is it's here.
Yep.
You've got to evolve and innovate your messaging and where you are saying this message online, right? Because, that's how people get found. So when we're doing this, it sounds like it's kind of this like monstrously expensive endeavor that I've got to redesign my website. I've got to make sure that I'm, having all the keywords and the citations and everything on these places and on social media and SEO. And I mean, yikes, how does a business owner ever know if they're doing this right?
They got to follow a playbook. They got to follow a blueprint that is going to be there. And it's a combination of what their designer is going to do inside of their website piece. Now, does it necessarily mean you have to redesign your website? No, it doesn't mean that.
Good.
It means that you have to be able to blog. And I've been doing a whole test on a whole piece in the last couple weeks that's been really interesting is when you do your social media post. And back in the day, we used to always talk about doing those social media posts, and that when you do a blog, it should be 800, 1,500 words and all those pieces. I've been taking the same thing that gets posted on social media and putting it into blogs, and it's getting picked up.
Really?
So if you are
So
doing
even the
that,
smaller pieces.
yep, because it's real. It's something that's having that conversation. So it's
Mm.
not about adding extra work. It's making sure that you're utilizing that information. So if you're going to post that information to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, why aren't you posting that to your website at the same time?
Right. Well,
You own that. You own that information. Why aren't you taking control over that?
and I think that that's really something a big aha, right? Because blogging used to be so important. I write a blog every week, and I post it and do that, and it's up on the website and all that for content. But it's like the bigger is not always better, right?
Right. No.
The naturalness and the human touch is what people really want to see. That's why shorts are so much more popular because
Yep.
our attention span is quick, right? And so, but to have that quick attention span on your website too is a huge miss because I know people post on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and wherever else they go,
Yep.
but they miss their website.
They don't think about the website because they don't think it's enough content there to be able to do anything. And I'm a big believer that everybody should have a YouTube channel. Everybody should go through and record what solution they had. So if you are a plumber, I'll go back to that whole analogy. If you're a plumber and you just solved a problem for someone, you get back in the truck, pull out your phone, record that video of what you just solved. Because somebody else is going to search for that problem. You can then do the whole city page geolocation piece to it because you can say, hey, I was in X city doing this, solving this problem for somebody. And then once you get back, and you publish that over to YouTube, you can pull the transcript from it. You can then have ChatGPT write you a whole blog off of your transcript and write your social media. Well, you just solved all of your marketing really super simple and fast.
That's incredible. And it's doing exactly what you want on your page. But here's the question I have. So we want pages to load really fast. So if we've got all these videos and all these social posts and the guy recording, the plumber recording on his cell phone and it gets on here, is that going to slow the website down and cause problems?
Not if you do it as an actual blog post
Huh.
because it lives inside of its actual area. So it's its own page.
Got it.
So
Okay, so
keep
your
so keep it
homepage
off of
loads really
keep it off of
quickly.
your main stuff. Don't have it on your main pages, but actually put it inside of your blog.
Okay. And then so that's a secondary or
Yep.
tertiary, third page, fourth page, fifth page in the website. Um,
Yep.
do you recommend having it actually housed on YouTube, but then you have the link on your page or
So if you use the embed link from actual YouTube and you put that into your website, you're utilizing their server for it being on YouTube. No different than if you do a podcast and you have it on, on Spotify or whatever. They have those embed links. It puts it in there, puts it into your RSS feed, and it actually will help you inside of your SEO world.
and it looks nice and it loads fast and it's not bogging down your website
Yep.
because that's a fear with all the stuff that we have to do, right? But I love that is such a juicy way of doing it and saying, look, I just solved this problem. So you're doing the personal touch with it. You're getting the engagement and then the engagement attach it, I mean, it just seems like the spider legs go out off of a post like that.
Well, you end up touching every single point and you get on everywhere instead of just being in one spot, which really helps inside of your SEO standpoint. So when we talk about like our AI SEO pixel or any of that stuff, it's looking for those common pieces. So
Mm.
when you're doing listings with simplybefound.com, just using that as an example, and you're doing your listings there or you're doing your social media using all that, it's all connected. So all of those data points. So you're taking that data and you're turning it into advertising. From the citations piece, you're taking your business name, your phone number, your address, which now they're calling that, and they used to call that NAP. Now they've added a W to it, and they're calling it NAP W because your website is so important.
Oh.
And that's starting to be a thing that I'm starting to see Chat GPT and all these different places talk about. But you have all that data, you have all your keywords, your descriptions, all that stuff. That is making sure you're on all the right networks, which we work with 500 and some networks inside of our network piece.
Right.
And then you have the social media side that allows you to make sure you're in front of everybody with your messaging and talking in a natural language. And then when you tie that to your AI SEO, it ends up going back and it looks at all that data and it puts it all into place to where you can actually turn it into something that's going to help you be able to get found.
Okay, you just dropped a bomb. You called it AI SEO.
Yep,
There's a whole new SEO play that you have to get involved with.
you do.
And it's based on how AI reads it, right? Where Google used to go, okay, here's the algorithms, and you got your sponsored people and all this other stuff. Now you got to add this AI piece into it.
You
And
do. And it's
the,
about structuring that data correctly. That's why I created the AI SEO pixel. Because it doesn't matter if you design that website on Wix, it doesn't matter if you I mean you and I were joking, I think it was you and I talking the other day about front page.
yeah, it was.
If
Oh
you
my
put our
gosh.
pixel on there, it'll actually work on front page, which I was like, I say it works on any website, but I'm really not sure it's gonna go back to that technology. And it worked. And I was like,
Wow.
oh.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's some serious old times because front page, I think we talked about it was what, 1994, 1995 that, front
Yeah.
page came out with. That was like the first page builder for us, non-techies, but oh my goodness. So so you talked about an AI pixel, right?
Yep.
So a pixel is a webhook or a code that you embed on behind the scenes on your website to say
Yep.
where these things are coming from, right? Where the links are coming from. So you can take that data and approve it, right? Or am I missing the definition?
Kind of missing that a little bit.
Okay.
So our AI SEO pixel, what it does is it gets put inside of your header code, just like it would be for Google Analytics or the pixel from Facebook for tracking ads or any of that
Okay.
stuff. And what that allows our pixel to do is it goes through and it can make changes to the website. So
Oh,
without giving access to the back end of the website, without giving any kind of control over to us whatsoever, you can remove that pixel and it reverses everything out. And it goes back to the way you started. It takes it completely out because that pixel requires it to be dynamic. It makes it to where it's looking at your Google Search Console. It's looking at your analytics. It's looking at what that traffic is, and it's making recommendations to your marketing coach. This is where that human comes into the factor, and the human goes, "Yep, I approve that. Nope, I don't approve that." And that's all done behind the scenes of the business, and it's like having a full-time SEO person that's monitoring that traffic 24 hours, 7 days a week.
wow.
So it's making
That
those changes. It's going in, making sure all of your alt tags are all done for all of your images. The descriptions for each page is unique. The titles are done. It internal links everything together. So if you talk about XYZ on this page, it'll link to it over on this page because it automatically knows and puts it together, which
wow.
makes it to where any of the algorithms, no matter if you're talking about the AI algorithms, the voice search algorithms, or if you're talking about, the search algorithms that are out there, when they go through and they look at it, they can now say, oh, this is related. Oh, they know this. They're the expert inside of this field because they've solved this problem before. Because a search engine has always, it doesn't matter what search engine it is, has one initial goal for you. It wants to deliver a result that you come back and ask it for another result. So it
Hmm.
wants to know, is that a good result for that person? So if they search for XYZ in this town and they deliver it and it's the best result for you, you're going to come back and use that search engine again.
That's right. And they
Now,
they 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 pay for ads on that, or they
right,
want their ads on that, so they want you to use that search engine. So I love this. This is an interesting angle of how we need to evolve and get onto the AI bandwagon. It's not a fad. It's
it's
here
here.
today. It's changing everything in the way that we as consumers search. And so, if we as consumers are searching this way, you as a business owner need to be found this way. So there's the connected dots. And I think it's just you can't not do it.
Now, I mean, if you look at it from an analytical standpoint, Google used to dominate search. Bing decided they were going to come in and they were going to combat that by having Microsoft put Edge on every single brand new computer for Windows that's out there and made it difficult to install Chrome, which Chrome now is being told by the government that they have to, I think it's the DOJ that ended up saying this. They advise that Google needs to sell Chrome because it's a monopoly. So you have
Right.
that whole entire change that happened this week. But which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But you had Bing try to combat it with that, and they ended up buying or investing in OpenAI for ChatGPT and ended up going that direction to combat it. But you have all these different pieces. Google's not the main search anymore. I'm seeing where AI search is happening. You can ask ChatGPT. Have you ever used the voice function inside of ChatGPT on mobile?
Yes.
So, I mean, you can ask it to find a business near you. And what's interesting about that is you can say, hey, I have back pain. I'm looking for a chiropractor near me. And it'll go and look for anybody who specializes in back pain. It'll go and it'll do that. And you can say, okay, who has the best reviews? Now it taps into your review side and it looks for that trust factor. Who's the oldest business? Now it's looking for that business data for that piece. And if you don't have those business data, it doesn't know that it can even put it out there.
Exactly. And I think how that changes too is that think about this, you know, audience. The top what I don't know, top 5, 10, 15 listings inside of Google are paid searches. That doesn't mean they're the best. They've somebody paid to be there. And the
Right.
same with the other search engines where you're going into AI and in theory there's nobody that's paid to get your eyes on it. So
Not yet.
it's a very non-biased recommendation when you go on to
It is.
chat and say, find me the best chiropractor that works on my back, who's got a lot of reviews and has been around a long time, right? And you put that in there and they go, oh, go to the Las Vegas chiropractor, right? And now you're going, oh, that's a great company. They got great reviews. I love the guys that are in there. They're super nice. Okay, yeah, let's go. It's a great price. You know, it's a non-biased decision. Las
It
Vegas
is.
chiropractor didn't have to pay to get put there.
No. And it makes it to where it's truly organic.
Mm,
And I think that is absolutely one of the best things about AI right now. I think they'll put ads on it.
sure.
I think they'll put ads at some point on voice search as well because they have to make money somewhere. And I think that's where Google is the way we search now has changed so much, and that's why Google's dead the way we know it. I
Mm,
mean, Google really kind of captured that whole entire market I mean, it was no different than the great value Kleenex that might be sitting on my desk right now. Actually, I don't have any Kleenex to be able to pull it up. I was going to do that and I didn't. But,
Uh,
you call it a Kleenex still. You don't say, hey, that's my great value Kleenex.
right. It becomes a noun, right? Because
Right.
because it's a process that's used frequently, right? The Kleenex, or we used to call film Kodak, right?
Yep.
Or right. You Google search it, so it's now a noun and a verb, right? And
Yep.
and
So people, if someone does a search, they're like, I'm Googling it. They made a great market share there. And if
exactly.
Google doesn't change some of their aspects and what they're doing, they're going to be like Blockbuster, where they no longer exist. They could have bought, Redbox, and then Redbox had the opportunity to buy
Netflix.
Netflix. And
Yep.
I mean, history repeats itself and just keeps going through and it keeps evolving. I mean, this is where we are today. And
And we as business owners have to make sure we're not a blockbuster. We have
right.
to make sure that we're working with the technology and the innovations that are out there to make us found and to be the choice of the consumer that we want to have, right? I mean,
And if you aren't, your competition will, and you're going to be left behind.
yes,
And then you're not
yes,
going to have any profit at all because, I mean, it's kind of like the people that, there's marketers out there that focus on, you're getting this many likes, this many. I don't like those metrics because they don't pay my bills. I want
exactly.
to see money
Your
in my
your
bank account.
likes and your follows don't pay the bills. What's the actual conversion rate? So of those 1,000 people that liked your photo of you dancing with an ice bucket or whatever the latest trend is, right? How many of those actually went to your website and made a purchase?
And do they convert into something? And I'd
Right.
say that's probably one of the hardest things for most business owners to understand about voice search and a lot AI search. There's some analytics on that side, but when it comes to voice search, I can't tell you how many people have asked Siri. There's no analytics. There's no
But
Google Business Profile. If it was a Google search and it was using one of the Google products like Bixby or one of those that rely on that Google Business Profile, it does not say, hey, this one came from voice search inside of their analytics yet, and this one came from the web. There's no way to tell.
mm.
So, I mean,
So
there's
then
going to be
we
a
as
whole entire
marketing
analytical
people,
piece that's going to be coming out. I'm curious to see how they solve that one because you have all kinds of privacy issues when it comes to voice.
exactly. You can they if you record into Google, they can put your voice on something, right? Yes, on a talking head, or they can change your head and put it on someone else's body and make you look like you're doing something crazy.
Well,
So
look at the ones that they're doing the presidents and making them look like they're best friends and out there and doing it. I'm like,
yes,
technologies came so far. I freaked out a group of lawyers the other day because I was like, I can take your voice and I can clone it just by you having this conversation.
isn't that scary? But
I
at the
mean,
same time, we're not here to scare people. We're here to scare
no,
people about what they're not doing in their business and why they're not being found by their ideal customer that they
no.
want to solve that back problem, or the plumbing leak that had, or the tree root that came in, and or the roof leak or whatever, or the best pizza in town.
Well, the best commercial I probably saw for voice search so far was a mom changing a diaper and asking, for some business at random or a person being inside their kitchen and asking, that Alexa that's sitting on their counter to be able to find something for them because they're so busy and they're doing stuff all the time. It's become natural to be able to have those assistants in there and it'd make the
Exactly.
life easier. And if your business isn't being listed on them, or at least getting those opportunities. Now, the interesting thing is you can't make sure that you're number one on those all the time.
But
I get people.
you better be on there if you're not on there, you're never going to be number one, right?
Correct. I mean, it's trying to find the best thing to be able to deliver and based on what your search history has been. And it's kind of that whole entire world that's there. Now, I get a lot of people that call us up and go, hey, I want to be registered on voice search. And I want to register. I had someone in Dallas, Texas once go, I'm a realtor and I want to be known as the best realtor in Dallas, Texas every single time. I'm like, if I could solve that for you, I could sell that for a lot of money.
Exactly. Well, think about this though. I think we spoke about this too. It's like how many realtors are in Dallas, Texas, right? In a 2 mile
Lot.
radius, there's like, 6 to 8 thousand, realtors there. And that's
Right. I'm like, you're not going to be number one, but you want it that one time can make everything for you. And you could sell that one house and they'll pay for everything.
exactly,
I mean, it's
exactly.
one of those things to where what's really interesting about that real estate market is there's not only this many realtors in there, but they're usually out of the same office.
Yeah, your competition's sitting right next to you.
Right. You're best friends with them. You're out playing golf with them. You're out doing stuff with them. And I mean, how do you compete against that? It's how you be out. If you're doing the right things, you'll have more opportunities.
Love this. All right, Rob, this has been like, we knew that this was going to be a hard conversation to cut short, just because it's so cool. It's so sexy. It's got all the bells and whistles on it. But most importantly, it is essential for businesses to grasp onto now, not next year, not, oh, well, I'll get to it when I get to it, but it's like urgent that if you want to grow your company, you gotta be using AI and the AI tools to be found and get that visibility. So with that in mind, how do listeners find out more about you and getting their business branded with AI?
Biggest thing is go to simplybefound.com. All of our plans are there, our pricing's there. We still operate as a small business. So we are a small business for small business, which is
Love it.
our whole entire motto. You have a 1 in 5 chance of getting a hold of me when you do any support tickets or anything in. You have a 2 in 5 chance of getting a business owner. So we've kept everything small, but I'd be able to operate at a large level. It's one of those things to where our whole entire goal is to help you get there. And simplyfound.com is the way to do it. Check out our YouTube channel. I talk about this stuff all the time.
Love it. Thank you so much. And you know what? It's super valuable. Business owners, we know that you're busy chasing customers and putting out fire and working in your little sphere of what you do in a silo, right? You need help. This is probably not your skill set, but someone like Rob, this is his skill set, and he can do it in a fraction of the time that it would take you to learn this and go and try and do it yourself. So, highly encourage you to reach out to Rob and his team and find out more about how you can get found using AI and AI voice. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you picked up some valuable insights and actionable ideas that will help you make your business more profitable. And being found is the first step of being profitable in any business. So I definitely agree on that one. All right, as I mentioned earlier, if you're trying everything but you're just not getting the traction you deserve, it might be time to transform your customer reviews into attracting new clients and boosting trust, as we spoke about. So go grab my free growth and marketing audit at profitbooster.biz. In just one session, we'll show you how to turn those reviews into real growth. Now, this is just one way that I help customers to grow their profitability. So go check it out. And while you're at it, subscribe. You don't want to miss future shows. You can always find Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast platforms. We're looking forward to more great profitable strategies on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.